Today, we are cracking open the executive's playbook. We're going to look at those moments that, they keep you up at night. I'm talking about the really tough calls, the ones that can make or break a career, whether it's yours or someone else's.
Our first play comes in, the Crisis Investigation Playbook. Think of this as your guide for making the right first moves the second a formal complaint is filed. It's all about making sure you act fairly, legally, and, most importantly, decisively.
Okay, the absolute #1 rule of any investigation is this. You cannot, I repeat, cannot act on whispers, rumors, or office gossip. Any action you take has to be based on evidence. But that brings up a really important question. What actually counts as enough evidence to start taking action?
And that leads us to a really core concept for handling these kinds of situations. The source material puts it perfectly with this rule of thumb, that 50% mark. That's the trigger. That is the exact point where you are legally and ethically required to stop just listening and start acting.
So what is this 50% evidence rule, really? Well, it's the idea that a formal, written complaint, that's not zero evidence. It's not just hearsay anymore. The very act of someone putting their name on a formal complaint, well, that creates what you can think of as a 50-50 situation. It's 50% fact, 50% doubt. And that is the threshold that means you have to launch a formal inquiry.
And looking at it this way is where it all really clicks. Hearsay, office chatter, that's way below the 50% line, so you can't act on it. But a formal complaint, boom, that's your 50% mark, and it is officially time to take action. Now, if you have hard proof, I'm talking screenshots, messages, that kind of thing, you're probably at 80% or more, and your approach is going to be even more direct. The key here is that a formal complaint is the starting gun.
So here's your 4-step process. Step 1, you assess the complaint. Make sure it's formal, make sure it hits that 50% threshold. Step 2, you have to confront the accused. You need to let them know exactly what the allegations are. Step 3, you gather their side of the story. This is so critical for fairness and for getting the whole picture. And finally, step 4, you act, but, and this is a big but, only after you've heard from both sides.
Okay, now let's really raise the stakes. The investigation is done, the evidence is clear, it's a gross misconduct violation. You have to fire them. But the person is your mission-critical VP of sales. Firing them could seriously damage the business. What do you do now? You can't just ignore the misconduct, but you also can't cripple the company. You need a contingency plan because no function can stop because of just one person. So in month 1, you appoint an interim leader, maybe a strong peer from another division, to steady the ship. At the same time, you kick off an anonymous search for a replacement. By month 2, you're interviewing candidates while your interim leader is keeping everything stable. And by month 3, you're ready to hire a permanent replacement and manage a really smooth transition. It takes about 3 months, sure, but it shows you're in control and you're providing a real solution.